start again. It's a redskin.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the signing that the Chicago Bulls made as their 16th man for the Chicago Bulls. At the end of the day, throughout all the circumstances that the Bulls have been suffering through, health and safety protocols and injuries, we were allowed to sign one more player to come into the team while others tend to get healthy and return for the team. And we're going to be talking about who he is. His name is Stanley Johnson. Many people might know him from the preseason and the beginning of the season, and many people might not remember, but we're going to be talking about him in this video, whether it's the right signing for us or not. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about this signing for the Chicago Bulls. Now, before I go any further, I need to know something in relation to Stanley Johnson, because at the end of the day, this is all new territory for me, and I haven't really looked up the news and I guess the rules on what the situation is with this 16th man. Is he someone that is going to get waived after our players get healthy? Are we allowed to keep him for this season? Because we do have a lot of players that are currently out, and we can keep him for the remainder of the season as that 16th man, or will he get waived once players begin to get healthy? My guess is he will be a player that will end up having to get healthy first. He'll be here until other players get healthy, and then we are going to waive him. It's almost like a 10-day contract type thing. That's what I personally think, but I'm not too sure about it. Again, this is new territory for the Chicago Bulls. We haven't had this many injuries and this many people out for a very long time. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that and whether or not I'm right or wrong. My guess is that he will be here until players do return. Let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, the reason why Stanley Johnson is here is because Matt Thomas recently entered health and safety protocols. Obviously, get well soon to Matt Thomas. Another player has gone out of the picture for the Chicago Bulls. He joins a very long list of players that is out due to health and safety protocols and injuries. So we ended up having so many players out for the team that we were allowed to sign one more player. We fall into the category where we can sign an extra player to kind of boost up the regular season for us, to make sure that we're not completely I guess, disadvantaged in many ways, because at the end of the day, we are disadvantaged by the players that we lost, but maybe the numbers of players that we have, we might not be as disadvantaged as other teams. It's a bit of an interesting one, but let's talk about Stanley Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about his positives and his negatives. The big positive for me about Stanley Johnson is that he's been in and around this team before. He knows what the system's going to be, he knows how to play the system, and we have played with him in preseason before. So he's not going to be a stranger to the Chicago Bulls. He'll come in, who will probably fit right into the team, potentially get minutes, might potentially be an emergency case scenario, but whatever it is, he will be able to play for the Chicago Bulls and be able to understand the system available. That's a very good thing about Stanley Johnson. That's why I do feel somewhat relieved that we do have an extra player in, and I'm kind of relieved at this point in the season, we do have someone that will know how to play with this team, that has done it before. Players like Lonzo Ball knows how to play with him, Zach LaVine knows how to play with him, Vucevic will know how to play with him, and the bench unit will know how to play with him because he's been in and around this team already. That's a big bonus for the Chicago Bulls. Again, for a short-term signing, if he is a short-term signing for the team, that's a big deal for the Chicago Bulls, to have someone that has played in and around the team before and knows exactly what we have to offer and knows how he can contribute in his own way to this team. If he does get meaningful minutes, that's something I'm really positive about. And that's why I think it's a good decision to sign Stanley Johnson into the team, and just it's able to provide us another body that we can use until we get our players back. That's the biggest positive when it comes to Stanley Johnson. Obviously, the key attributes that he brings is toughness. He's a tough individual. You can clearly see that by the way that he plays. He plays very physical. He's a very tough player. He can guard the perimeter. He's someone that can grab rebounds. All of these things do help the Chicago Bulls and what we currently do need at the time. He's also someone that is desperate for an opportunity. He's been playing in the G League, I believe, and he's playing well in the G League as well. So it's a step up for him to come into the NBA now and try to prove something. So this not only benefits Stanley Johnson for getting a contract for the Chicago Bulls, where he has an opportunity now to not only impress the Chicago Bulls, but also impress other teams around the league that might have an extra spot available or might be looking to switch up their roster to bring Stanley Johnson in. If he impresses in this instance for this team, other teams will be looking at that and will be calling up Stanley Johnson to try and get him on their team, which means NBA teams could potentially see this as an opportunity as well to sign someone else, and Stanley Johnson sees this as an opportunity to impress other teams. It's a good match for the Chicago Bulls, and it's a good match for Stanley Johnson. But let's talk about some negatives, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a big negative that I think the Chicago Bulls did in terms of signing Stanley Johnson. Again, how I feel about the situation, I'll let you know at the end of the video. But the biggest thing, in my opinion, is that we need offense in terms of the Chicago Bulls at the moment. I think our defense can reign through this period. Again, no matter how many players are out due to injury, we do have a lot of defensive-minded players on this team. Lonzo Ball is still here, playing defense at the highest level. Zach LaVine is an improved defender. Obviously, you got players like Troy Brown Jr. off of the bench, really good defender. Derrick Jones Jr. can really defend. Nikola Vucevic is a somewhat okay rim protector at times. Then you got players off the as well, like Io, who's a very good energy guy. So we have a lot of good defenders on the team, and I think our defense will still be strong no matter who's in and out of the lineup. But offense is something that against the Cleveland Cavaliers we sorely missed. We didn't have a bench point until the fourth quarter of that game. We played 3 quarters of that game and not one bench player. Troy Brown Jr., Devon Dotson, Alizé Johnson, Tony Bradley, 4 bench players there that played for the team, and not one of them got a point, I believe, until the fourth quarter. That is a big disappointment by any stretch of the means if you're the Chicago Bulls. So we do need a little bit more offense in the team, and I don't think Stanley Johnson's the right person offensively to bring in when we know that we need a little bit of offense. We need someone that's going to be able to score the ball, score a three-pointer, take a set shot, maybe do some dirty work in the paint. Stanley Johnson can do that in small doses, but he's not a good scorer in terms of his NBA career. I believe he has a very low percentage from the three-point line, and he doesn't really take the right shots, in my opinion. His shot selection isn't the best. So there is a situation there where we have kind of neglected what we may have needed in this short instance of time. Also, there is a player out there that I think would have better suited the Chicago Bulls. Again, I don't know if he plays for an NBA team. I don't think he does. His name is James Ennis. I don't think James Ennis has a team right now. And in my opinion, he is the better option to go for that 16th man, that short-term kind of player. And I just don't know why we couldn't look at him. Again, I'm not going to be upset that we got Stanley Johnson. I welcome him into the team. I know he's played before, and obviously we're going with people that we know over people that might have to take some time to adjust. We know Stanley Johnson can play on this team. But James Ennis, I feel like, fits a certain need that we do need. We need some scoring, and we need someone that can just maybe dribble it into the paint a little bit and score there. Maybe just shoot a 3 and make it at a higher level. I feel like James Ennis would have been the perfect option as a short-term player for the Chicago Bulls. And if he impressed enough, he could have potentially, in the end, got a contract on this team. I don't know, maybe James Ennis doesn't want to play for the Bulls, or maybe the Bulls don't see him as a good option on the team. There's also players like Tyler Cook that maybe deserves a chance as well. But you just got to be honest. If we had a 16th man, I think James Ennis would have been perfect. I think he fits the position that we need. I think he fits the scoring that we need. We need more bench scoring, and I think he can provide that for the Chicago Bulls. But nevertheless, how do I feel about the situation? I feel pretty okay, to be honest, about the situation with Stanley Johnson. Again, I know this is a short-term situation. At least in my opinion, I think this is. I don't think we're going to see Stanley Johnson all season. I think he's going to come in for the short term, work very hard for this team, try to get us and boost us to get some victories. Again, we got Miami, we got Detroit, we got a lot of teams there that we still have a short-handed roster in. I think he could do a role for the Chicago Bulls until said otherwise. And then in that instance, I think he'll go back to the G League probably, or maybe he'll go and in and around other NBA teams, maybe be that journeyman type of player, just go to the opportunity wherever it presents itself and play for an NBA team. It's a bit of an interesting one with Stanley Johnson, but again, I can't blame the Chicago Bulls for adding in an extra body. I can't blame the Chicago Bulls for getting more help on the team when we desperately need more players on the roster. I just personally feel there was better out there that we could have went for. However, I'm not going to be mad for going with someone that we know has played on this team, knows these players, and plays with the chemistry that we may need for the Chicago Bulls in future games. I think Stanley Johnson provides all of that for us, and this is his big opportunity now. He's coming in for a few games, and he's going to be ready to play. Let's see if the Chicago Bulls, A, uses him in this team, and B, can just simply show that there's a player in there for Stanley Johnson, and there's an opportunity there for him. Whether we want to take it or another team wants to take it, let's just see where it goes for Stanley Johnson. I'm very keen to see what will happen. And if he does impress, I think many people won't hesitate to say, bring him onto the team. Only if he impresses, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what happens. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.